Itself, as explained in the report, is a 10-acre.
Call this meeting to order of July 1st, 2024. The Village of Deerfield Board of Trustees meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Shapiro.
Here.
Trustee Benton.
Here.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Goldstone. Here. Trustee Jacoby.
Here.
Trustee Metz-Childers.
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Yes, here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Jerry. Stand for the.
We did this already.
We did that already.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Minutes as for our previous board meeting of June 17th. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, Eric is not with us tonight, but I want to report to you there's routine activity. Again, this is the Treasurer's report of May 31st. We have the report presented in the packet. Again, year to date, there's still some variance, but again, as you're looking at some of those some of those variances just because those are spread out over the year and they come in cycles. So even though the monthly total might be a variant, it doesn't mean that the year end will be a variant just because they don't come in evenly every month for those items. But happy to answer questions or take questions back to Eric.
Anything? Those in payroll, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Goldstone.
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby.
Yes.
Trustee Metz-Childers.
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Yes.
Trustee Benton.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now is the time on our agenda where we offer the public an opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items. We have one person, Tracy Merrill, who signed up. Tracy?
Okay. You know who I am. I'm Tracy Merrill. Yes.
We do. Thank you for coming. And as you know, you have 3 minutes for public comment
Yep.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I live at 315 Forsythia Drive, and I'm here to address the board and also fellow residents for the record since nobody is here. Excuse me. But thank you for taking the time to hear me today. It's important that everyone in our city understands the treatment that we've endured regarding the Pulte Planned Unit Development Project on the Walgreens property. And to recap, the city is permitting Pulte, the developer, to bulldoze a 350-foot long, over 7-foot high berm that houses more than 30 to 40 healthy and mature trees. This berm, which has existed for over 50 years, is home to various plants, trees, and wildlife. Despite numerous meetings with the Plan Commission and the board, not a single city representative has instructed the developer to preserve this land. This is despite clear evidence that the plan will depreciate my home value, and a report from a civil engineer suggesting alternative options for the developer. The city has disregarded its own ordinances on tree preservation, environmental protection, and the Plan Commission's code, which states they shouldn't recommend a PUD if the plan is shown to cause injury to neighboring property values. Is this the kind of leadership that we want? As we approach the 4th of July, we are reminded of the spirit of democracy upon which our country is founded. Democracy is government by the people for the people. It is the cornerstone of our nation, ensuring that every voice is heard and every concern is addressed. The people elect representatives to serve their interests and needs, trusting that these officials will act with integrity and fairness. Democracy does not stand for neglecting the needs and interests of the people who elected these representatives. It does not support allowing elected officials to use their power in ways that negatively impact their constituents. True democracy means transparency at all levels, accountability, and a commitment to the well-being of the community. It means making decisions that reflect the values and desires of the people. When elected officials ignore the voices of their constituents, they undermine the very principles of democracy. This project's handling is a glaring example of such neglect. However, it's not too late for the board to right their wrong. You still have the opportunity to listen to the voice of the constituent and take action to protect our community. By reconsidering the current Pulte plan and exploring the alternative options, you can demonstrate a commitment to the values of democracy and responsible governance. Your decisions will have a lasting impact on the trust and respect we hold for our local government. Show us that you are willing to prioritize the well-being of Deerfield residents and preserve the integrity of our environment. Thank you.
Normally, during this time, we don't engage. Normally, I don't engage. But there are a couple things that you said that I want to specifically address. Perhaps the only thing that I agreed with you on is that we're here to serve the well-being of the community, not to any individual homeowner or homeowners. Our outlook is to do what's in the best interests of this village. We have done that always. We will continue to do that always. You've made accusations of neglect, undemocratic principles, abuse of power, and irresponsible behavior, all of which I completely disavow and disagree with you. Those are very heavy claims, and nothing further could be the truth. Any other public business? Public comment? Reports. We have no reports. Consent agenda. We have no consent agenda. Old business. No old business. New business. Item 2473. A resolution approving a license agreement with Shake Shack for parking at 645 Osterman.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. The village owns a parking lot at 645 Osterman Avenue. It's directly across the street from the the Shake Shack restaurant that recently opened at 560 Waukegan Road, which formerly was Rosebud. The village has been very considerate and being a good neighbor to the Central Avenue row homes and others in the area. And when there's a new restaurant that opens, typically around the ribbon cutting, there's a lot of excitement, brings additional traffic to the area, and we wanted to be particularly considerate about the parking arrangement for that grand opening of the restaurant. So we have an agreement here that will allow the Shake Shack employees to park at 645 Osterman, which is the village-owned parking lot. This agreement has been negotiated with Shake Shack. Our councils reviewed it. Their councils reviewed it. It gives the village protections, the indemnification and liability waivers that we wanted to seek to allow them for a short period of time, for 3 months, to use that parking lot for their employees during the excitement of their grand opening. Staff is recommending approval of the agreement as proposed.
Andrew, is it being used for anything else?
It is not.
Thanks.
It's not paved, is it?
There is a small portion that's paved,
A
and then a
small
larger
portion.
portion is grass. So they're allowed to park in the paved area. And while it's not being used for anything else, this is a non-exclusive agreement, so we could use it for our own purposes concurrently if we needed to, but there's no use for it for us right now.
So again, just as a reminder, this is immediately adjacent to post office property, and it's the former parking lot where the Village Music Store was, so there is some paved and driveway area there. And again, we felt it was a good interim, but let's relieve some pressure while that thing's going through grand opening interest, and hopefully 3 months from now, although we want them to be successful, everybody wants them to be successful, they'll have figured out that scheduling and their employee staffing. So this is really for employees only. It's not for the general public. It's really for employees who need to come there and can park extend a shift, whatever that extended period of time, but then and we have not experienced on-street parking issues there, I think is also safe to say.
But this will head it off. We won't experience on-street parking.
We haven't. Again, something's going to happen
That's
one
the hope.
day, and all of a sudden you get But I think in general it's being very well received, and I think the parking lots that's there is sufficient to serve the customers.
Is there going to be any signage there?
Really not.
No.
Because, again, this is employees only, so we're not trying to direct the public to park there. It's more.
I meant restrictive signage.
I think there is probably restrictive signage out there now.
I don't know that there's any signage now. The agreement stipulates they have to park on the paved area, and so that we'll monitor it. And we've been corresponding with the general manager. This is important to them at this time, and so we haven't had any issues with them parking there as of yet because they have used this. This is now giving us the appropriate protections for their continued use.
And we can certainly park no trespassing. So if somebody's given our permission, then they're not trespassing.
Right.
But if we need to do that, then we'll follow up with that.
And given the fact that I was there at the grand opening and the place was jammed, and there were still spaces for the customers to come in, and they did, even at that point. So I don't think, Mary, that it's going to be a conflict.
No question.
I have to say, in all, Shake Shack has done a real terrific job of some of the concerns that we had many months ago. Don't seem to be coming to pass, and they're doing a nice job of, keeping everything flowing nicely. So, any more discussion on this?
I'd move second.
Discussion. Motion to accept do I have a motion to accept the resolution?
Rebecca and then Mary second.
Oh, geez.
Time for a vote.
Trustee.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Metz-Childers?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 2474, resolution approving a second amendment to the residential lease agreement with Laura Simo for 1219 Carlisle Place.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. The village bought 1219 Carlisle Place, acquired this real property in about 2015 for a potential future expansion of the Deerfield Road wet weather station. Laura Simo has been renting this property since 2021. She had a 3-year agreement. We are proposing to extend that lease for an additional 3 years. Ms. Simo has agreed to the terms, seeks to stay in the property, and this includes annual escalators. So the current rent, if this would be approved, would be $2,493. Starting as of today would be the next lease term, and then, as I mentioned, annual escalators for the next 2-year renewals after that. And she's interested in staying in the property, really continuing what we have in place. We did use a real estate broker to set the market price when we entered into the lease with her.
As we've done before.
Correct.
Consistent with past practice, right?
Questions? Is there a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
All right. Now I'll get it right. Roll call, please.
Childers?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
And Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Items for discussion by the mayor and the board of trustees. We had the police roll call, which was on June 26th at Briarwood. 25 people attended. Great attendance. Great program. Thank you guys for doing that. The next police roll call will be on July 24th at 7 o'clock at J.C. Park. On June 26th, we had several of us, I wasn't there, but several of us attended the Northwest Municipal Annual Gala, which I understand was a terrific event. And for those of you who did go, thank you for going. About a week before that was the Chicago Sky Luncheon, a lunch and learn sponsored by Magellan. And the Sky were there, and team, staff, and administration. And that was a neat event that I attended. Met some of the players. Didn't get hammered by Angel Reese or anything like that. He was actually very nice.
Did you feel short?
I felt very short. Yes.
Jan was doing this.
Especially, I don't know who the rookie center is, but she's 6'8".
Wow.
And she was just really tall. Okay, July 3rd and 4th is our annual family days. We have just a huge agenda of things that always pack those holidays, always pack those days for the holiday. July 3rd at Shepherd School starting at 5:30, there will be live music, and then the fireworks at 9:15. On the 4th, we have the race. Registration starts at 7:15. The running race starts at 8 o'clock. There's breakfast in the park, arts and crafts, etc. A pie eating contest that I think many fortunate people have signed up for, maybe, I don't know. Or unfortunate, I don't know. I'm looking over there. I shouldn't be. Our parade is at noon. And so we just do these great events all during the course of these 2 days. And the Family Days Commission deserves a lot of credit for putting this together, a great event year in and year out. And then on July 4th, of course, is the parade at noon. We will have the appropriate and adequate safety precautions with our police department in place. There will be safety measures not only for the parade, but also for the fireworks as well. Reports from the village manager.
Last time I got to talk to you about retirements. This time I get to talk to you about promotions. So we're pleased to report that Melissa Gosek has been promoted to IT specialist from IT technician within the IT division. And Jessica Sharetta has joined us as our management analyst in the village manager's office from administrative intern position. So we're super excited about those people advancing in our organization. They deserve it, and we're looking forward to their continued contributions going forward.
At this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120, 2C8, 2C11, and 2C21. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
And Trustee Metz-Childers?
Yes.
Motion
We will have no
passes.
business after executive session, but I just, again, want to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July.